What's up, guys? It's Coach Grant with First Down Training, and today we're going to be breaking down some good examples and bad examples of an out route, okay? So we're going to be talking about getting an inside release on an out route, what benefits that can have, and when you want to take an outside release on an out route, and just kind of all the mistakes that receivers make when they are running a speed out, okay? So I hope this video gives you guys some value, but also, fellas, if you guys want a wide receiver gym program and our wide receiver technique manual all combined in one for $10 off, check out that very first link in the description. It's our ultimate wide receiver training package, everything you guys need to be a better wide receiver, a full 28-day gym program, and then all of the technical aspects that go into playing the wide receiver position. Now, we break down everything from releases to routes, everything. Check out that very first link in the description to learn how you could get access to that bundle. Let's get started with this video. So we're going to be looking at this out right here. So let's talk about where they're at, right? You can see they're on the left hash of the field, right? So let's bring that into account. So we don't have a lot of space to work when we run this out route. So let's watch this thing full speed. Now, this isn't necessarily a bad route, right? I don't think this is a bad route. I think the technique is not bad. It's just we have no space to work right here, and that's a very, very tough throw for the quarterback, and it's very hard for me to accelerate off of this thing, right? This was kind of, it's a difficult route to find, bad examples of, right? So, especially in this situation, but I think this is something that you guys could get some value from because a lot of times it's knowing the situation and thinking like a quarterback, right? So this DB, where's he at, right? We come off the line and you see how he gives this little hesitation skip release, right? So this DB's taking away the outside, right? He's giving him this inside release. So we've talked about this before. If you guys watch this channel and keep up with this channel, you guys should trust your moves at the top of the route. Don't be afraid to take an inside release on an outside breaking route. Don't be afraid to take an outside release on an inside breaking route. You got to be able to trust yourself at the top of the break. So when this DB takes away the outside, he's trying to force you inside, right? That means that he's probably got help to the inside. But when you're running a speed out, you can get him to flip his hips if you sell vertical. But what this receiver decides to do here is see how he gives this little hesitation and then he breaks to the inside. He gives this one move. But we could have taken the inside release, either work to restack or work in a throw by at the top of the break, because now let's talk about this. He's outside shade, so I make this move. I got to avoid. And when you avoid, you widen out kind of your stem of the route. And now you see how he started out where? He started out here by this Big 12 sign, and now he's ending up at the bottom of the numbers, and that's cutting down the distance of this route. As a quarterback, we want him to be able to run, not going to necessarily be able to run just straight because he's got a guy in front of him. However, we want to be able to have as much room as the sideline possible so we could widen the gap. But because he decides to take this outside release, this DB is able to get, and not necessarily get hands, but in some cases, if we don't maybe throw as good of a move, he could get hands and reroute me all the way to the sideline because he's trying to take away the outside, but the sideline serves as his help, right? The sideline is his help. That closes the field right here. So even if I burst up and even if I make a good break at the top of the route, even if I sell vertical, when I come out of this break here, there's not much space to widen the distance with this DB because we talk about that all the time. You guys want to be able to sell vertical, that's phase one. Create energy with the break, that's phase two. And accelerate, that's phase three. You guys want to be able to do all three of those things and be able to get out of the route efficiently, right? Now, when I do that and I create energy at the top of the break, there isn't no space for me to run. If I keep running, I'm going to be running out of bounds because I forced that outside release a little bit. So when we're running this out route against press, you guys do not want to force the outside release. Unless in your program it's a must outside release, this is something that you might have to do. Just make sure that you restack and get back on that platform. Don't widen this thing out because let's talk about this. Let's say we just have to take the outside release here. You guys don't want to just round up into this thing. I'm not necessarily saying he rounded it, but we want to try to go hip to hip. Let's restack so I give my quarterback some space to throw because he needs to lead you. He wants to throw this before you make that break. When you're popping that cut at the top of the route, like when you're here and you're making this break right here, that ball should be halfway there. But if I have no space to work, that's not going to be good for me. This DB's got all the time in the world to react because we're going to automatically slow down because I don't want to run out of bounds. Okay, so it's all about making sure that if you have to take an outside release, let's make sure we restack, but don't force it. If you got to take the inside release, that's fine. When you make this break, maybe work a throw by. I throw him by on the back of his hip, back of his shoulder, or I work to restack with the inside release, give him a little head fake, and then go. You guys got to have a plan in case that DB takes away our release because it just all starts with it takes away like an outside release. But it all starts with it all starts with the very first release. He gives this little hesitation skip. You're trying to get info on the DB. You're trying to read which way he's going to go, and he's going outside. He's taking away the outside, so just take it. You see guys like Davante Adams do this all the time. They give that little hezzy skip. They see where the DB's at, and then they just take what the DB gives them. Trust yourself at the top of the route. Let's watch this thing again, full speed one more time. So it gives this little hesitation move right here. Kind of forces this outside release, widens it a little bit, doesn't necessarily restack. DB does make a good play in that case, okay? So now, Let's take a look at kind of the same idea. Again, now you see they're on the right hash here, but we're going to be running a speed out. Now, again, I know that McLaurin here is from the outside. He's playing the Z in this case, but however, it's the same concept. You're still running a timing speed out at around 10 to 12 yards, and the quarterback's got to be able to throw you and lead you out there, right? And so you see where Sherman's playing, right? So he's playing outside leverage, playing a little bit of outside shade. He kind of takes away the outside. He's kind of staying square, right? We come off the line. We hit him with that wide step release, get Sherman to the outside, and now I'm taking the inside release. Now let's talk about this, right? So now let's watch it full speed. So you see how he takes the inside release. He's at like still the top of the numbers. When we made that break before, he was more closer to like right on the numbers in the last clip, right? But now you see we're firmly established myself to the inside of the field. I'm way above the top of the numbers, right? I'm a couple yards, maybe 3 yards, because now what do you have? You have space to run. You have space to create some energy right here and accelerate and beat Sherman back to the ball, because you see, again, it's going to be a tight coverage play. Sherman did not play this thing horribly. So I get him to jump to the outside. I take the inside release. I don't want to force the outside release, have Sherman be on my hip, get hands, reroute me, and force me to the sideline. Anytime you guys are running this speed out, and maybe you're from the same hash, like you're on the right side, you're the Z, and we're on the right hash, and we're trying to isolate this DB right here if you're the outside, if you're the Z or the X, whatever situation it is, you don't want to just round this thing. You don't want to just go straight to the outbreak and have this guy right on your hip, because that is almost an impossible throw for that quarterback. He's got to put this thing perfectly on a spot where only we can get it. But if we could take this inside release and we get comfortable with this and we sell vertical to get Sherman to commit his hips, and then I'm able to just drop right on a dime, get in that explosive position, and now you see what does he do? He widens the distance. Sherman doesn't play this thing bad, right? But if we have no space to accelerate, if we have no space to drive my arms and actually come back to that ball, if we're breaking this thing right here and I have to run and I have to slow down so I don't run out of bounds, Sherman's going to be all over this thing. The only reason this play worked is because of the acceleration out of the break. You guys make that break, get the DB to commit. Don't be afraid to take that inside release. I pop this thing off, and then I accelerate and run to the spot. It's all about winning this race to the ball and giving myself space to do so when you have to run this speed out. This is a very, very tough throw for the quarterback. The quarterback is anticipating this thing. He will not be throwing this ball late. So you got to make sure that you make your break, create that energy, then accelerate so we can widen the gap with the DB, but also get to the spot the quarterback needs us to be at. That's a great example of Terry McLaurin running this out route. Let's watch it again full speed. So it gives this wide step. Don't be afraid to take that inside release. Make sure that we're not hugging the numbers, and we give myself a space to accelerate back to the ball. All right, guys, I really want to thank you for watching. I really appreciate it. If you guys have any questions at all, please leave those in the comment section below. And also, guys, if you want to get our ultimate wide receiver training package with a specific gym training program, 28 days, specific wide receiver gym exercises, and our technique manual at a discounted price, check out that very first link in the description. Hope we get you guys on that soon. I'll see you guys next time.